Hey guys, it is me, Nathan. Today it is just me, and it's going to be a new episode of Zoo Nation. No cameras this time, but we've got some new stuff in store. Also, you're going to be seeing me at least once a week now from now on. So let's get into this. As we're going to be talking about Biden, Pence, Trump on back on Facebook, and also we're going to talk about Russia and Ukraine once again. So let's get this show on the road.
You're listening to Zoo Nation.
Ready? You have the cameras rolling?
Come on, man.
All right, guys, so this is a different episode of Zoo Nation. As you can see, or not really see because we don't have a camera doing this one, but as you can tell, it's just me, Nathan, today. We're going to start doing episodes of where, at least I'm going to start doing episodes of where it's just going to be me. I'm going to try doing those once a week. Josh and I together, we're going to start, or at least try doing those at least twice a month. So you'll see me hopefully 4 times a month, well, actually, I guess 6 times a month, but Josh and I at least twice a month, because we try to do those every 2 weeks. So that's what's going to happen with Zoo Nation, just with the changes. Just letting y'all know. Also, hope y'all like the new intro music. It's a work in progress, but, hey, it's, like I said, work in progress. So, yeah, let's get into it. As we know, well, as I said before, we're going to be talking about Biden, Pence, Trump back on Facebook, and Russia and Ukraine. What do we want to get into first? Oh, a lot of stuff here. Honestly, let's get into Biden and the Biden documents first. What's going on there? We don't really know. That's the problem. When you have documents like this, any classified documents, see, Democrats like to do this thing. Well, what about the Trump documents? What about, Pence now has documents that have miraculously been found. We'll get into that here in a bit too. But, documents in general, classified documents, I've never been a fan of those, especially when, they're randomly found and it's like, oh yeah, that's a problem. We need to, the people need to know at least what's in these documents. What were they doing? Especially with Biden. These go all the way back to when Joe Biden was in the Senate. He's had documents, classified documents, all the way since he was a senator. That's a problem. It wasn't just since he was a vice president. The question is what's in these documents? I've got some theories. I've got again, not confirmed yet, but I've got a feeling that a lot of this is going to end up tying back to Hunter Biden and also just how corrupt the Biden family possibly is, not possibly, but is, as because this goes all the way back to when Joe Biden was a senator, or at least these documents go all the way back to when he was a senator. We know that Hunter Biden has ties with Ukraine, China, and a bunch of other countries as well, and has dealings if you go all the way back to the Hunter Biden laptop story. So the question is Biden playing a quote-unquote double agent here? Who knows? Not some 007, shaken, not stirred type stuff. But no, just is he sitting here selling out his country to help out, his son Hunter Biden? That's a question. And the White House, press secretary KJP, she, the worst press secretary ever. The White House in general, she is not being open about these documents at all. That is a huge problem. Because especially when this is the the White House that's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be open about everything, and we're gonna be, as clear as, tape. Like, okay, cool. That's awesome. Except for the fact that we're not. We're about as clear as mud right now. And just listen to KJP on this right now.
Thanks, Green. After a special counsel was named, but before the FBI searched, President Biden went to his house in Wilmington. What was he doing in there?
I would refer you to the White House counsel office.
So it was something relating to this case?
I would refer you to the White House counsel's office.
Okay. Do you think that this story was leaked by someone trying to bruise the president politically ahead of a re-election announcement?
I would refer you to the White House counsel's office, as they've been the ones who've been closely involved.
Okay. More basically, we know the president did it. Why did he do it?
I would refer you to the White House counsel's office.
In the president's own words, he admits to having information that wasn't his. Why did he smuggle it out?
I will let the statement of the president stand for itself. I'm just not going to go into down a rabbit hole with you on this.
Why did he not tell you about it?
I don't know what I like better. I don't know if I'll refer you to the White House counsel better, or if let's circle back with Jen Psaki. At this point, let's just get Jen Psaki back with the lying, instead of questions not being answered at all. The American people aren't getting answers. This is a huge problem, because the question is did and is Biden selling out his own country for his family's benefit or his son's benefit? Again, we know that Hunter Biden has had ties to Ukraine and China and other countries as well, especially China. So the question is are these classified documents that have been found, are they all the way back to the Senate when Joe Biden was in the Senate? Are they, or have they been sold to other countries or given to Hunter Biden to use to help him progress in his business careers? This could be and possibly is treason. This is a huge issue, guys. It's a problem. And the thing is the media is trying to make this go away, or at least the left-wing media. The who knows, the right-wing media might even allow it to go away too. The thing is we cannot allow this to go away. I don't care if this was Trump. I don't care if this was, Pence, Biden, whatever. I don't care who this is. When it comes to classified documents, honestly, I want to know, I personally too want to know what the documents were with Pence. I want to know what the documents were with Trump. I want to know what these documents were. I'm not a fan of crazy. Yeah, I'm not a fan of classified stuff, honestly, especially with the American people. I understand that there are things that we cannot know, or the American people cannot know. But really, as many as we've found, and I do find it ironic though with Pence. He's just now we're finding he has documents as well. It's kind of ironic. Not saying that there's nothing there. I have no idea. That also needs to be looked into. Of course it does, but I've got a feeling, just a little hunch, that ironically, we found these documents at Pence's house right when this story with Biden is really, really, really kind of going forward, and people are interested in it. I don't know. This is a huge problem. We've the reason that Biden's trying to make this go away, or the Biden administration is trying to make this go away, is one, there are huge repercussions to this, or there could be huge repercussions to this, if my conspiracy is honestly found true or anything of the sort. If he is selling out the country or has sold out the country, that's treason for one. And not only that, but that could spell a world of trouble for America as we know it. Who knows? Again, these are, conspiracy theories, whatever you want to call them, quote unquote, but not really. Just go back and look at the Hunter Biden laptops. Go back and look at the Biden family and their ties to China and Ukraine, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I will say, with ties to Ukraine, Biden is not the only one that has ties to Ukraine. A lot of politicians, including on the left and right, have ties to Ukraine. So that's a problem in general. But, I mean, these documents, we've got to know as the American people. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican or anything of the sort, whatever you are, independent. I don't care. We've got to know what's on these documents, and we cannot let this go as the American people. Now, talking about, classified documents, Pence, they found some classified documents on his end as well. Question is, what are those about? Now, the Pence team has been a little more open with this. They've actually kind of come out publicly with some statements and said they are cooperating. And, of course, we're not going to know anything recently. We're not going to know anything anytime soon, more than likely, just kind of like we didn't with the Trump documents as well. So I don't know. But at least, Pence is cooperating. And I'm not saying Biden's not necessarily cooperating, but that there is a difference between Pence and Biden here in the sense of, sure, they're both cooperating, but the transparency here is two different things right now. Pence has gone out and, the Pence team has gone out and said, hey, we are cooperating. This is what's going on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, there is a difference there. But again, we don't know. But we are going to keep up on that story for sure because, I mean, again, on both of these stories, especially the Biden one, this is a problem. Classified documents, man, it's a bad thing. So where will it go, though? I don't know. I really don't know where all this will go as far as the documents go. Honestly, I'm hoping that it doesn't get swept under the rug like it never happened. A lot of things end up happening like that, especially if it's something that, the media didn't want happening, etc. Like the Hunter Biden laptop story that ended up getting swept under the rug. That's a problem. We as the American people have to hold people accountable. And we cannot let this go. We've got to continue talking about this. We've got to keep this up. So we can learn more. We've got to start holding the White House or the Biden White House accountable for this stuff. And honestly, I've got a feeling that the reason that it is trying to be swept under the rug is because Biden is going to more than likely make a 2024 presidential run. So he's got to sweep things under the rug here because this could severely damage, a debate. Even in the Democratic debate, not just Biden versus Trump or Biden versus whoever type debate. It could damage him in the Democratic debate. So I don't know. And it really damages Biden in general just right now, or I don't know. Because Biden's made statements of when Trump with the Mar-a-Lago raid of, oh, well, how could somebody be so careless with documents? Dude, these are documents all the way back since you were a senator, and these were found in a garage because, oh, nobody can, break into a garage. That's so secure. At least at Mar-a-Lago. Now, again, I'm not saying right or wrong on this, but at least, with Trump, try breaking into Mar-a-Lago. Try stealing something from Mar-a-Lago. Just in general, a soda, something, that's going to be hard. There are actual, armed guards around everywhere at Mar-a-Lago. And I'm sure that, there's some things that could have been done better with those documents, of course. But really, we found a lot of these documents in a garage for Biden. because nobody's ever broken into a garage before. I mean, come on. That's an issue, and it really tarnishes his look of like, oh yeah, here at the Biden administration, we're responsible. Really? Are you sure about that? Are you sure? I don't know. And again, with Pence as well, hopefully things, pan out there too, and everything's okay. Maybe these are just, some document. Maybe a lot of this is also just a misunderstanding on a lot of ends. Hopefully, again, same with Biden. Hopefully it's just a misunderstanding of like, hey, I didn't know I had these. I doubt that. But like, one can dream. But yeah. But speaking of Pence, let's get into, our next topic with Trump back on Facebook. A lot of people, we've got people happy, people sad, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I'm sure a bunch of hard leftists are over there weeping and sobbing. But the question is how does Congress or just Facebook or everybody in general, for the most part, feel about this? Well, the Trump haters, or especially Facebook, right? Not Trump haters. Let's just talk Facebook. Facebook in general hates this. Why? Because Trump on Facebook raised so much money. That was like one of his biggest areas where people had followers. Why? Because actually Facebook had a lot of conservative base, had a lot of Republican base at that time. Still does. But yeah, so when Trump was on there, though, he raised tons of money from Facebook. He, and again, had a lot of following on Facebook from there. So that's why Facebook definitely hates this. And let's not say that, oh, it's because everything was, everything's done and over with, blah, 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 blah. No. The reason that they reinstated his Facebook and Instagram, I'm assuming, since Facebook does, also now run, Facebook now runs Instagram as well. Let's not act like this was just done because, oh yeah, Facebook's, had a change of heart. No. Enough people have had enough of this. And so this is done by the American people. That's a great thing. This was done because of the American people. So that is a wonderful thing. And it is for freedom of speech. It's a win for freedom of speech to an extent of, hey, you keep talking about this, you keep fighting back, you can gain things back. So it is great on that end, not just for Republicans. It's not just a win for, Republicans, in my opinion. It's a win for American people. Again, we have the freedom of speech. There is no reason that a sitting president at the time should be, banned off of Facebook, Instagram, any social media. That there's no reason for that at all whatsoever, especially when the guy was not inciting violence. We can go back. We can go back and play multiple clips of where Trump did say, hey, march peacefully to the Capitol. Hey, guys, you guys need to go home. This is not a tactic that the Republicans / conservatives do. This is a tactic of the left with the riots, et cetera, et cetera. Now, that is in no way condoning January 6th, none whatsoever. But what I am saying is Trump did not cause this, and it is no reason, and there was no actual reason to get rid of that man off of his social media. Social media has really gone way too far. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you name it. It's gone way too far with the bans. Anytime you, and look, majority of people that have gotten banned have been Trump supporters or just Republicans or people that have gone against COVID. And let's go through of who's actually gotten banned. It hasn't been a lot of leftists. Let's just, let's be honest, guys. Censorship is a problem, and it goes against our freedom of speech. Now we can debate all day of like, well, how far does that go, et cetera, et cetera. And that's not a bad question. Honestly, Josh and I will probably talk about that. Actually, yeah, make a mark on that one. Josh and I will talk about that whenever he and I do a next episode, is how far should censorship go. I've got a feeling that he and I are going to have kind of differing points of view, but at the same point, we still are very high on the freedom of speech freedom of speech goes a long way. And there's no reason just because somebody has a differing point of view, or just because somebody says during COVID, oh, I wonder, is it really what the CDC says? Is it bad? Like, is the vaccine good? Like, just because people have questions, or just because people have these differing points of view, does not mean they should be banned off a social media site at all whatsoever. Their freedom of speech should not be stripped from them. So the question is, what do you do about that? But this is a win to an extent, in my opinion, for freedom of speech. And again, like I said, not just for Republicans. It's a win for freedom of speech of, hey, voices were heard in this opinion. People were getting ticked off. People were leaving these sites because of that. Hey, that's great. That is good. So let's take a small win where we can take it. That's awesome. That's great. I don't know. I kind of happy about it, not just because I was a Trump supporter. I am a Trump supporter. But no, this is wonderful that he's back on, and as wonderful in the sense of not because of, oh, it's Trump. You guys should know my stance on that one, as far as who's the ultimate savior and everything. That only one savior, Lord Jesus Christ, of course. But no, it's great to have him back in the sake of freedom of speech. But yeah, so that is good. We got to keep this up. Let's get a lot of people back on social media, left, right, whatever. I mean, I don't care if it's quote unquote misinformation. That's up for a person to figure out. If you want to listen to false information or stupid information, in school I was always taught, do your own research. Okay, let people do their own research. Let's let people do that. I mean, it's I don't know. Stupid information, correct information, kind of stupid, kind of correct. All that information should be allowed onto social media. I don't care what it is, as long as it's not harming a person at that moment. For example, just child pornography clearly should not be allowed on social media at all. Or somebody talking about going to murder somebody, something like that. Clearly, things like that should not be allowed on a site. But I mean, if we're just talking about, well, man, is the vaccine, just questions about it, that's not a bad thing. That's something that should be allowed. Trump, just in general, should be allowed. Other talk show hosts, Crowder's been banned off of multiple sites before. Ben Shapiro, actually, I don't know. Ben Shapiro, he's gotten docked a couple times. I don't know. This is one of those things of, I do stand, even if I disagree, even if it was the leftists that were getting banned, I would be saying the same exact thing of, we have freedom of speech regardless of opinions. So I am very happy that Trump is back on social media, just for the fact of it's a win for freedom of speech. So with that being said, though, let's get into my least favorite topic to talk about, Russia and Ukraine. Look, my stance on this is we need to stay out of this war. This is not a good thing at all. It's not our war. It's not our fight. And I'm not, I'm not one to say, hey, go Ukraine, or go Russia. Gracious. Sorry about that. I was looking at social media and Florida came up, but my apologies. But no, I don't know. This is not one of those things that is good on either end. But getting into it, us getting into it is a terrible, terrible idea, and will spell nothing but disaster. Although, let's take a look at what Senator Lindsey Graham has to say about the new sending tanks into Ukraine now. Let's see what Senator Lindsey Graham has to say.
Very pleased that the Biden administration has finally decided to supply American tanks to the Ukraine. The M1 Abrams tank is a terrific tank, will upgrade the military capability of the Ukrainians to evict the Russians invaders from their territory, which is the goal. The goal is to get Russia defeated in Ukraine. Either pay now or pay later with Putin. If he wins in Ukraine, he'll keep going. The Chinese are watching what we're doing. And if we show weakness in Ukraine, they're going to take Taiwan. So the tanks are helpful, very helpful. I'm glad to see the Germans are sending the Leopard tank, which is probably a better fit. The combination of tanks and long-range artillery will give the Ukrainians the edge they need to evict the Russian invaders, which is in our national security interest. The sooner this war is over, the better. The sooner we defeat Putin, the more stable the world will be. So well done to the Biden administration and to the German government, but we need to act quicker and more decisively. It's taken far too long to get to this point.
Act quicker. What do you mean? Why do we need to be in this? I'm not a fan of war. These guys are. You know, Dan Crenshaw, Lindsey Graham. They're fans of war. Why? Because war does make money. But no, this is terrible. Especially when Putin has come out and said, you know, hey, the U.S. has now crossed the line. What that means, I have no idea. I'm not one to sit here and, you know, doomsday, et cetera, et cetera. But that is a problem. We do not want to be entering a World War III. We need to stay out of things that are not our own. I mean, wars that are not our own. I mean, but yeah, things in general. Why do we need to be focusing on Russia and Ukraine right now if we have many other issues that we need to focus on here in our own country? This is why I did support the America First, because of the fact that we've got to stop these endless wars. Again, we haven't gotten ourselves into a war officially yet, but this could lead to something. Who knows? Hopefully it does not. Sending tanks is a terrible idea. I'm all in favor for, to an extent, sending aid, kind of, sort of. Not really in this case. It depends. I mean, it really depends. With the corrupt state that Ukraine is, I don't know. With the corrupt state that Russia is, I don't know. The only thing that I will agree with is, with Senator Lindsey Graham, is China's watching. Sure, China is watching. I don't think they're going to take Taiwan anytime soon, just because they do not have the boats to do it. They actually do need boats, like the landing craft boats, for the planes to take off in order to take Taiwan. Other words, it's going to spell disaster for China. And those boats take quite some time to actually build. But I don't know. This whole thing. One is, can we get Lindsey Graham out, please? The guy's been there way too long. Career politicians, I don't like them. Second off, why are we complimenting the Biden administration? Thus far, I can't think of anything that I'd compliment the Biden administration on. Gas prices back up. Now we've got this issue with the documents. And now we're sending stuff to Ukraine. And the question is like, is the U.S. really getting into this because now of these documents? Maybe, who knows, Ukraine has so much on us, or these countries have so much on us, that now we are basically in debt to people. So we have to do whatever they say, or else. Who knows? I mean, again, that's not proven. That's a, that is a conspiracy theory. That's a theory in general that I have. Who knows? I don't have proof behind that, but it would make sense of like, hey, we've got, X, Y, and Z against you. We've got all this information on you. You guys don't want that getting out. So if you guys don't start sending us stuff, WikiLeaks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Who knows? I don't know. It's not good to be sending stuff into this war. I mean, we've already sent enough money. You can't buy tanks from other people at this point. Whatever Germany wants to do, whatever England wants to do, let countries do what they want to do. But as far as what we want to do, let's stay out of it. I'm not pro Russia. I am not pro Ukraine, but I am definitely not pro war, especially not pro this war. Now, if we are attacked, that's a different story. We do have to defend ourselves. But also at this point, I mean, yes, if Russia, were to attack us, of course, to an extent, yeah, we got to retaliate. I don't think, depending on what it was, that we would have to get into said war over it, but we're opening ourselves up. Why do we need to get ourselves involved in something that we are not even a part of, that doesn't affect us? People can say, oh, well, it affects the gas prices. That's a flat out lie from the Biden administration. The Putin gas hike does not exist. Why did it go down during the elections, during the midterm elections, but it has gone back up? Is it still a Putin price hike? No. So no, we shouldn't go into war for oil or gas or any of the sort anyway. But that's a flat out lie. So it's like, oh, Putin is not affecting your gas prices. Ukraine is not affecting your gas prices. Who's affecting your gas prices? That is the Biden administration. Listen, guys, this is a terrible, terrible idea to be continuing to send stuff. We're putting ourselves in debt by sending them money, by sending Ukraine money. And not only that, we're putting ourselves in danger by now not only just sending them money, but we are sending them equipment. Maybe a while back we could have sent things before people were in war. But now when a country is in war, I'm not in favor of this stuff. What other countries want to do is what other countries want to do. But America cannot continue to be the protector of every country. We do have to focus on our own issues at some point in time, especially since we have a crisis at the border. We have issues with our own administration. We have we have so many issues as is that we have to focus on ourselves before we can even think about helping other people unless it is dire need. And I'm sorry, I do feel for the people of Ukraine, the people of Russia in general. I feel war is never a good thing. It is never, ever, ever a good thing. Even when you have to retaliate, war and fighting is never good. So I feel for the people of Ukraine. I pray for the people of Ukraine. I pray for the people of Russia. But this is not America's fight. It should not be America's fight, and there is no reason that we should possibly even take the risk of putting Americans in this fight. So far, we haven't gotten there, but that could change any minute, especially with the way that we keep getting closer to a line that Putin's put in the sand. I'm not saying I want to play ball with Putin. I definitely don't. But you can't, when you've got a person that is, very trigger happy and just, hey, don't do something. There are certain things you can't play with, and it's not even a matter of should we play with Putin or not. It's a matter of should we risk our own people or not. And the answer to that is no, we can't. We cannot risk our own people just for the sake of others, unless again, other things happen, of course. But war is never a good thing. I feel bad for the people of Ukraine. I don't know. I feel bad for the innocent people in Russia that have to deal with this too. There are anti-war people in Russia as well. I feel bad for those people. This whole thing is bad. I do not applaud the Biden administration for this. This could be possibly one of the worst ideas that the administration has had thus far. Then again, that kind of started with money, with money going into Ukraine in the first place. So who knows? We'll see how this continues to unfold. But this is where we're gonna end this episode. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Follow us on Instagram, Zoo Nation. Follow us on Facebook, again, Zoo Nation. Follow us on any social media that we have. Follow us on YouTube. Click that, subscribe button, please. Would help us out tremendously. Also, guys, like I said, you're going to be listening to me at least once a week. And then Josh and I, like I said, we're going to try and do it twice a month. So every 2 weeks. That's how this is going to start to go now. If you got any feedback or just, any thoughts or anything you want us to cover, let us know. Leave it in the comments in YouTube and everything. So, yeah, guys, we're going to end it here. Y'all have a good one.
This has been Zoo Nation.